The police found my blood. They found the struggle in the snow, but they never found her footprints. It was like I was fighting a ghost. My name is Robert. Actually, I still get chills just talking about this. This happened back when I was in 11th grade. If you've ever been to Montreal in the winter, you know, it's not just cold. It's the kind of cold that freezes your soul. I was a competitive swimmer, and I used to hit the sports club downtown 4 days a week. That day, I was running late. My dad dropped me off at the train station because the roads were literal ice rinks. He told me, "The train is safer, son." Looking back, I wish I'd never stepped onto that platform. It was around 3 p.m. when I got on the train. It wasn't dark yet, but that gray, heavy Montreal sky was just pressing down on everything. Since I was late, I didn't want to waste a single second in the locker room. I headed to the very back of the train car, the empty spot where nobody sits. I quickly stripped off my heavy winter gear to organize my swim bag and prep my supplements. I was just in a thin gym t-shirt and track pants. I grabbed my coat and headed for the doors as we approached my stop. Right then, I felt it. A hand on my shoulder. I jumped. I turned around, and there was this woman. I couldn't tell how old she was, maybe 40, maybe 80. Her face was white as chalk. And I'm not talking winter pale. I mean, like she was born that way. She was holding my beanie. I must have dropped it while I was getting ready. "You dropped this," she said. Her voice was so deep, so distorted. It sounded like one of those high-pitched train whistles from an old Western movie. It physically hurt my ears. I muttered a thanks, but when I looked into her eyes, my stomach just dropped. We were standing in sub-zero air, right? But not a single puff of steam came out of her mouth when she spoke. Her breath was frozen inside her. I didn't wait. The doors opened, and I practically threw myself out. Outside was a nightmare, a full-on blizzard. The wind was slapping my face. Then the intercom buzzed. All train services canceled due to the storm. There was no going back. I called my mom. No answer. I messaged her. "Mom, trains are dead. Heading to the bus lot. I'll figure it out." I started walking toward the ring bus area. I only had my coat on, and my legs were freezing in those thin gym pants. The snow was up to my ankles in some spots, and knee-deep in others, where the wind had piled it up. Every step felt like needles stabbing my skin. I just needed to get to that bus and warm up. That was the plan. Then I heard it. A scream. A high-pitched, disgusting shriek from behind me. I turned around. About 50 yards back, I saw her, but she didn't look like the woman on the train anymore. She was wearing nothing but these thin, tattered rags. No boots, no socks, just purple, frozen bare feet standing in the deep snow. And then she started running at me. She wasn't sinking. It was like she was gliding on top of the snow with a speed that shouldn't be humanly possible. My brain just screamed, "Run, Robert!" I ran. I was plowing through the snow, feeling like a deer being hunted by a wolf. But this wasn't a documentary. I was the prey. I ducked into a wooded path near the station. It was getting dark. I was gasping for air. And every time I looked back, she was closer, gliding, no footprints. That train whistle grunting was right in my ear. I tripped. I slammed face first into a snowbank. I tried to scramble up, but she was already on me. Her hands, when she grabbed my throat, Her fingertips felt like literal razor blades. Not her nails. Her actual fingers were cutting into my skin. I looked at her face, and her pupils were huge. Her eyes were just total blackness. With a surge of adrenaline, I shoved her off. It felt like I was pushing a sack of solid ice, not a person. I got up and bolted for the station lights. I burst into the security booth, bleeding and shaking like a leaf. The guard nearly had a heart attack when he saw me. The police came. They searched everywhere. They checked the station cameras, and it was all there. They saw me bursting in, neck bleeding. They saw the woman on the footage 10 minutes earlier, stalking me outside the station. They saw her running through the snow, attacking me. But here's the thing that still keeps me up at night. When the cops went to the spot where we fought, they found my blood and the marks where I fell. But for her, nothing. No footprints. No heat signature in the snow. No disturbed drifts. In that freezing afternoon, that woman had vanished, without leaving a single trace. It's been years now. The scars on my neck from those razor fingers, they're still there. But the attack isn't what scares me the most. It's what she whispered in my ear when she gave me that beanie, a word I was too shocked to understand back then. Now, whenever it snows, whenever that gray sky settles over the city, I stand by the window and I wait, because I know I didn't just drop my beanie that day. When we touched, she took something else from me, and I know she's going to come back through that gray fog to finish what she started, even in my warm house. Looking back at, and now, I can still hear that breathless grunt in the wind